We can't go into any game thinking about, okay, we have those guys.
Welcome to Ben Light Gymnasium for Liberty League men's basketball. And the matchup, the Ithaca College Bombers with a record of 12 wins and 8 losses, hosting the Rochester Institute of Technology Tigers with a record of 7 wins and 13 losses. Ithaca, RIT, right here for you on Bomber Sports. And for the pregame show, I'm Morgan Spriggs, and my partner is Johnny Lisi. And Johnny, the Bombers have lost 2 of 3, both close games, a 4-point loss to Union and a 3-point loss to RPI on Senior Day. What do you view as the aspect of Ithaca's game that, with improvement from these past few contests, can lead to wins?
Well, Morgan, this could not be more impeccable scheduling, just the way the Liberty League slate shook out for Ithaca, because you look at this schedule and you had a really tough weekend, a pretty solid Skidmore team, and you also had the best defense in the league in RPI. And the Bombers split that weekend. The Bombers split the weekend before, again, beating Hobart and losing to Union, like you said. But really, this is ultimately a get-back game. Here in the thick of the Liberty League schedule, Morgan, you play Friday, Saturday, and that's it. You really don't get to play Tuesday night. So this is a good refocus, a reshift game for Ithaca, because you've lost 2 out of your last 3. They didn't play their best against Union, and then against RPI they got caught against a really tough defense that they couldn't close the gap and finish. So really, for the Bombers, you got to play a full 4 quarters, because they were down at halftime against RPI. They crawled back, but they just couldn't finish down the stretch. So for the Bombers, you got to play a full game of basketball here.
Exactly right. You talked about RPI not finishing. The Bombers had a chance to tie several times inside 3 minutes. They got at least 3 offensive rebounds late, several by Chris Lasath, but they just couldn't knock down the shot to even cut it to 1, and they never, ever took the lead again. And so for RIT, they've struggled in conference play. They're just 3-10, but what can the Tigers do to pull off an upset win on the road?
Well, for the Tigers, you're coming off of a game against a pretty solid Clarkson team, and they have a very tough weekend. They're playing Vassar and Bard this weekend. And, Bard might not have the best record, but that's one of the men's teams in the Liberty League that I'm pretty high on, because Bard has a lot of size, and they're very tall, and those big guys can shoot shots. So RIT, this is also a good midweek prep, because you're playing a very good Ithaca team before playing Vassar and Bard. So it's kind of a tune-up game. And, Morgan, you use the term tune-up game when you're playing against lesser competition. This is a tune-up game against one of the tops in the Liberty League. So really, for the Tigers, you just got to shoot well, and you got to play defense. I feel like it's just kind of stupid basketball cliches here, Morgan, but you look at it, and the last time these two teams played, Ithaca dropped 50 in the first half, ultimately ending with 99 points to the Tigers' 73. So you got to play defense, really, if you're RIT. You just stop those shots, because you look at the series history, and I was looking through this morning, a couple years ago, I think 6 matchups ago, the Bombers dropped 100. So you look at these matchups, and RIT swept the season series last year after losing 8 straight to Ithaca, and both of those games were high scoring. They were both in the 80s. So for this game, I'm expecting this to be a little bit more of a higher scoring game, but I think the key is for RIT, you got to limit the Bombers. You got to stop them inside. But also for RIT, the last time out against Ithaca at Clark Memorial Gymnasium, their home gym, they scored 43 bench points.
Wow.
So you got to get that bench production. That was 11 from Josiah Turner and 10 from Luke Gronto and 9 from Marcus Graves. So you look at that, that's a really good performance. And 42 points in the paint. They only made 6 3-point shots. So really, for the Tigers, you got to perform well in the paint, you got to play defense, and you got to control the high-scoring affair.
Yeah, bench points is such a huge factor. 42 bench points. If RIT puts up 42 bench points against Ithaca, it'll be a really, really close game, because the Bombers, in their last 4 losses, Johnny, they have scored less points from non-starters than their opponent.
It's a crazy stat.
Yeah, talk about Ithaca's depth and how they can get bench scoring improved this evening.
Well, the starting 5 is obviously great. Evan Cabral gives you really good performance, and he's a great shooter. You also have Logan Wendell, too. Cabral had 23. Wendell had 20 last time out against RIT. Jalen O'Neal had 17. You also have Aiden Holmes, and then you have Chris Laseth. I was talking to commentator who will be doing this game later, Devin Jarvis, earlier in the season, and we were talking that there's 2 players. You look at Chris Laseth and you look at Alex Penders. They're both about the same size, same build, both very athletic. Chris Laseth is a defensive and rebounding threat. So Coach Fareed will sub him in a late game situation where you need a defensive squeeze down the stretch. And then on the other end, when you need a bucket, you sub in Alex Penders, who can really attack inside. He can get offensive rebounds, but what I like about Alex Penders is he is a confident three-point shooter, and we've seen those shots. I saw him take a couple shots, didn't necessarily make them against RPI, but he has the confidence to shoot. So you have that depth, and you also have Jose Padilla, who early in the season, Padilla looked really good. You also have Cole Wissink, who's historically been a solid guy off the bench. So you look at this Bombers team, and there's a solid rotation of about 8 guys that you're going to see. The starting 5 and about 3 or 4 bench players, so a solid 8 or 9. And, you know, Coach Farid really just needs to use his depth in a smart way here. Really needs to utilize it to his advantage. I think you're going to see Penders in and out a lot more. Alex Penders only had 16 minutes last time out against RPI. I think you're going to see him have a little bit more minutes, but you know, Ithaca's depth really could carry them through this stretch part of the season and into the Liberty League tournament.
Now, you mentioned how the depth pieces have to step up from the Bombers and how they're very capable of doing so, but also this starting lineup has been consistent and they performed well all season.
Yeah, they're very, very consistent. This is an Ithaca starting lineup that you're going to look at your starting 5 and you're going to go, okay, they're going to perform. It doesn't matter if it's one guy or two. Like last time against RIT, Evan Cabral and Logan Wendell, they both had exceptional performances. Some nights it's just Evan Cabral. Some nights, like that Cortland game, Chris Lasith could be a beast on the boards. So you look at all of these players and this starting lineup, all 5 could have solid nights, or there's an endless amount of combinations that you can get that really makes me excited about this Ithaca starting 5.
And they've started all 20 games together. The lack of injuries has been astounding. The ability to play together and be consistent has been amazing, and it's been key to this Bomber success.
I think we're going to need to send Coach Farid a video of Morgan Spriggs knocking on wood after she said lack of injuries. But
we hope not. We hope not. We hope
this
not,
is, if you start 20 games together, you're going to develop that chemistry. You look at some teams, and in this RIT team, I think they've started a couple different combinations, but you look at this across the board, and you're going to see consistency. And teams, you stay fresh, you stay healthy, but if you have a team that's starting all of their games with the same 5 starters, you're going to have consistency. The plays are going to get cleaner because sometimes injury-ridden teams, you sub one person in for another and the sets get sloppy. But these players, they know what they're doing, they know their plays, and they know that they can play together. They know each other. That's really crucial.
What strength of this Bomber team is best fit to defeat these Tigers tonight?
This Bombers team, you look at them, and they can play in a defensive battle or they can run up the scoreboard. 99 points last time. I think whenever you go up against RIT, and this is a first-year head coach for the Tigers, head coach Dominic Parker, came from Christopher Newport in Virginia. And this is someone who has never been in and around the Liberty League, except for maybe a potential 1 or 2 game non-conference slate against Liberty League competition. So he's new to seeing the Ithaca Bombers. So this is just the second time, but historically, they've been offensive battles. So I think Ithaca's strength for this is that they're going to shoot well. If they just need to shoot well, get some good plays running, use that chemistry. The Bombers struggled a little bit defensively, transition-wise, and I didn't really like what I saw defensively, against the Engineers of RPI. I think they really need to settle in defensively, especially in transition defense. This is an athletic team, and they need to use their athleticism.
Well, let's see if the Bombers can get off their recent skid. They've lost 2 of 3, but they're trying to get up to second place in the Liberty League with a win. They would go to 10-4 with a victory tonight. That'll do it for our pregame coverage. Luke Fitzpatrick will also join us for halftime and postgame coverage as well, along with Johnny Lisi and myself. I'm Morgan Spriggs. After the short break, we'll have Cam Manna and Devin Jarvis get you ready for the game, and they are on the call here this evening.
It's the final regular season home game for the Ithaca Bomber men's basketball team here on the South Hill. Devin Jarvis alongside Cam Manna for your coverage today of Ithaca men's basketball. We saw a nice win for the women's team a little bit ago, but now it's time for the men's to complete the sweep over the Tigers in a 7:30 tip-off coming up in just a few moments. Cam, we've got an exciting one today. Before we send things down to the third member of our team, and Matt Giavoni, what are we expecting today? This Bomber team coming off a tough loss, went down all the way to the final minute against RPI. They couldn't get it, but at the same time, they're looking for the future. No game behind them is paying any attention to now.
Yeah, 4 games to follow this one that are all on the road. You got to play at Vassar, at St. Lawrence, 2 of the toughest teams to play in their gyms in the whole entire conference. It seems like from our eyes, the Bombers the last few weekends, they got away with some weekend splits, winning the Friday night games, losing the Saturday matinees to be at 2-2 over your last 4. But this is a midweek game where you have to come through heading into the final 4 games on the road. Coach Freed always says winning the games at home are so crucial, especially this time of year, because February basketball is the known thing of either the rise or the collapse of a basketball team.
Absolutely. We'll have more on this game in just a moment, but first, some insight from our sideline reporter, Matthew Giavoni. Matt, what do you have for us?
Devin, Cam, for the Ithaca and RIT entering this game, they're at 2 very different points of the season. For RIT, first-year head coach Dominic Parker is looking to win and continue to grow his veteran group through their last 5 games of the regular season. This team has gone through a lot of change adjusting to the new head coach throughout the year, but as Coach Parker said yesterday, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we are settling the team in for years to come. For the Bombers, third-year head coach Waleed Fareed is looking to lead them to a win, which would put them in tied for second in the Liberty League. Despite RIT being 9th in the Liberty League, Coach Fareed is not taking the competition lightly, saying, quote, "I stay up at night thinking about all of those teams. We can't go into any game thinking about, okay, we have those guys tonight, let's worry about tomorrow," end quote. Both squads at very different points in their season, but the same goal, getting the win here tonight in Ben Light Gymnasium. Devin, Cam, back up to you guys.
And Matt, getting that win will be crucial today. Cam, this game is a playoff game for the men's basketball team, for the Bombers. If they want to have good seeding in the playoffs, if they want to get themselves ready for down the stretch a solid playoff run, they're going to need to get the win at home tonight because it's not going to be easy to get 4 more on the road.
And you look at the standings for them. 3rd place right now are the Bombers. You're a half game back of Vassar. If you win this game, you technically have that tiebreaker because the Bombers already are 1 game back in games played in Liberty League contention, and then RPI in first, a game and a half ahead. That's going to be tough to beat overall, but those top 3 teams get a home playoff game. But if you get that 1-2, you get a weekend playoff game. The 3 seed gets a Tuesday playoff game. So just really overall for the Bombers right now, looking to play a cleaner brand of basketball. You come out very sluggish against RPI on Saturday. You crawl back. You held RPI to 18 points in that second half, and you have a chance to win that basketball game. But the Bombers right now have not been able to put consistent games together. They've not had that weekend sweep in a little bit, and having a midweek game entering a weekend to have a victory could just be so crucial for this squad.
And last year, every single loss seemed to compound upon itself in future games. Coach Freed talked about this multiple times during our conversations with him during the season, that he does not want to focus on the game before. Don't let the loss affect the next game you have, which it did last year. And a rough February led to no playoffs. RIT is a team that sneaked in ahead of Ithaca down the line in the playoff stretch. So this year, Ithaca's done a better job at managing that, but now is really when it matters the most. Starters being announced on both sides for your RIT Tigers. Matt Caggiano, Brack Bowen, Brody Brown, Zach Ditzel, and Josiah Turner. On the other side, it's Logan Wendell, Jalen O'Neill, Aiden Holmes, Evan Cabral, and Chris Laseth. A starting lineup we've come to be familiar with so far this year. Cam, speaking on that starting lineup for the Ithaca Bombers, it's such a young squad. You have 3 underclassmen, a freshman and 2 sophomore. Going into the season, we didn't expect maybe 2 of those names to be getting big minutes at all. Jalen O'Neill, Chris Laseth, they've had huge impacts in both really coming big in these recent stretch of games as well.
And you didn't expect the jump for Jalen O'Neill to be so big. Cabral had a very strong freshman season, but O'Neill was a reserve off the bench, wasn't that dominant X-factor player, and now O'Neill has been that for this team. He made a big jump. Chris Laseth You look at a year ago, this guy was playing high school basketball. He's made the jump to D3. He thought in no world would he be starting now his 21st consecutive game. He's played every game so far this season. You did expect Wendell and Holmes, but who are their counterparts going to be? To be a 9-4 team and to kind of have a chance here down the stretch to be one of the top 3 teams in the conference with this starting 5 is an expectation that Coach Freed didn't know that maybe could be possible back in November.
A very young team, which has led to this team being a lot deeper than maybe most expected. A preseason poll had them 8th in the Liberty League. Now they're going to have to prove they're a little bit better than that. Sitting 3rd, like you mentioned, Cam, with a win tonight, they would be 2nd. RIT in their black uniforms with orange accents down the bottom of their shorts, trims of their jerseys, as well as orange numerals and lettering. Bombers in their home whites with blue accents down the bottom of their shorts, edges of their jerseys, and navy blue numbers and lettering. Coaches on either side will lead Fareed in his 4th season, and Dominic Parker for the RIT Tigers in his 1st season. Took a while for him to get accustomed to this team, one that he said needed to take some time to gain his trust, but also one of the most intelligent squads he's ever been a part of. For the tip, it will be Josiah Turner and Chris Laseth right at the center of that Bomber logo at midcourt. And we're off for 40 minutes of play. Turner will win the tip, and it starts with Brock Bowen, the senior, one of these upperclassmen, a very deep upperclassman team, feeds underneath to Josiah Turner. He'll open the scoring 2-0, but the age of this RIT squad is so profound. 4 grad students, 4 more seniors. The leadership is clear.
It's the oldest team in the conference, the only team with 4 grad seniors.
Was able to keep 4 of his 5 seniors last year, Dominic Parker. Needed a little bit of work to do that to convince him to stay. He got their trust. Evan Cabral now looking to attack for the Bombers. Low post on the left side. Feed to the top of the key for Aiden Holmes. He drives down the right alley. A teardrop with his right from the high block. It won't go. Turner with the rebound. Now here's Kajiano, the grad student. Could be on the bench for the RIT Tigers a year from now as a coach. Turner left wing, fighting against the freshman in Laseth. Backs his way to the basket, spins around, a baby hook at the restricted circle, and he'll get one to go. 4-0, the RIT Tigers lead. O'Neal now creeping his way into the paint. Hands it off to his sophomore counterpart in Evan Cabral. Right now, 13 points per game for the sophomore. Aiden Holmes now, free throw line, looking to the corner for Evan Cabral. It skips past Zach Ditzel's foot and goes out of bounds. It will stay with the Bombers on the right side of the floor. Bombers moving left to right here in Ben Light Gymnasium, and RIT right to left. From the short corner, it's Logan Wendell on the right side. He slaps the basketball and pins it at his hip. Surveying the floor, goes to the right wing, O'Neal. He launches his 3. Grazes the first part of the rim, but it will go out of bounds and stay now with the RIT Tigers. Bombers not able to find success on their first 2 offensive possessions.
Strong start for the Tigers, and you found Turner down low, a guy for Dominic Parker that was their 6th man, now has been adjusted into the starting role with Kenny Wilburn, their top grad senior, out for his 3rd straight game with back issues.
Turner, a matchup to watch. He has it here on the left block. Once again, against Laseth, he has an inch height advantage and uses that to get one off the glass. All 6 points so far for number 33 in black. How about Evan Cabral looking to respond? Underneath the basket. Skips a pass to Laseth. He gets one to respond against Turner. Now a 6-2 lead for the Tigers with 18-11 in the first half. Brock Bowen kicks it to the right wing for Brody Brown. Now left wing, Zach Ditzel. He moves to his left against the sophomore Cabral. Cabral goes back outside. Here's Brown. Brown launches a 3 off the back iron. It'll go high and into the hands of Evan Cabral. He charges past midcourt. Now down the left alley. Back to the top of the key, O'Neal, right wing for the captain in Logan Wendell. His first touch of the game offensively. Laseth by the basket. Spinning around, a baby hook with his left. It won't fall. Other side is RIT. It's Bowen. Top of the key now. It's Kajiano, another leader for this Tiger team. Passes to the top of the key for Josiah Turner. His 3-point shot grazes the right of the rim and will go into the hands of Jalen O'Neal on the rebound. O'Neal Euro stepping inside, kicks to the corner. Laseth, his 3 won't go, gets his own rebound. He did a lot of that on Saturday and gets the second chance points to fall. Getting rebounds on Saturday like Oprah, handing out certain gifts to her crowd.
And it's been the big men so far. Turner with 6 on 4 shots. Laseth with the team's 4. It's been both centers that have came to play to start.
And that's a battle to watch, freshman against senior. How about Brown? He lofts one to the left corner for Caggiano, crossing up O'Neal. It'll get tipped out. Good defense by the sophomore. That was kind of his identity last year, Jalen O'Neal, what he can do as just a pest on defense. He's taken everybody 94 feet so far this season, the ball handler for the other team. Not making life easy, but he does get into foul trouble sometimes. Oh, Turner underneath. He lost his possession. Ball's on the floor, and it's loose. How about O'Neal charging down the paint? Loses possession, goes up for the shot, fouled, and it won't fall. First real stoppage of play between these two fast-paced teams. Bombers went to Rochester earlier this year, put up 99 in a fast-paced game. Still 73 for the Tigers. Two offenses that can really get going.
And it was Dominic Parker who told us about how he knows that this Bombers team wants to play fast. It's a challenge for them, for this team, that under a first-year head coach trying to find their rhythm as the first one goes for O'Neal. If they can keep up with this pace, and he knows that that first loss they had was one where 6 guys were down to the flu and they weren't full strength.
It's 6-5 here. O'Neal is able to hit his first but not his second. It will rim out and get rebounded by Turner. Here's Caggiano, dribbling hip high with his left hand. Holmes picking up all the way to the sideline. Caggiano trying to slip past. Lofts one to the corner for Bowen. Bowen is the safety net. Goes to the corner here for Ditzel. Ditzel driving baseline. Cabral the defender. Ball comes loose. Cabral steals it. Tries to hit it off against Ditzel. Ditzel's able to keep it in bounds, go to the basket, and lay one in for 2.
Cabral tried that throw off the leg and go out of bounds, but Ditzel caught it and said, give me that, an assist from Cabral.
And Cabral's usually the player who's falling out of bounds. We've seen him do it quite a few times this season, trying to save it. This one not to his advantage. Underneath Lasith, a teardrop from 5 feet out. It won't fall. 8-5 with 16 to play here in the first half. Tigers lead. Bowen down the left alley. A high arcing layup underhand, and it won't fall. A foul comes, and now a stoppage on the side of RIT's floor. Bombers get their first foul. 1 for either side, and team fouls to begin here. In 4 minutes, and no substitutions quite yet, Cam, but we've seen the Bombers go to their bench pretty fast and pretty deep in these games all season long. The first one for Bowen will fall. That'll be his first points of the night. No starts in the first 4 for Bowen, has only missed 2 since then. His second shot won't go. Offensive rebound by Bowen. Gets it to Turner on the right wing. He feeds back outside. How about Ditzel? Left wing now, Caggiano. Points for a screen from Turner to his left. Gets it. Now a pick and roll back to Turner. Free throw line off the back iron and rebounded on the right block by Aiden Holmes. He'll be the ball handler now. Moving to his right. Feeds to the right wing for Evan Cabral. A dish pass, shovel underneath, looking for Lasith. It'll get blocked off by Josiah Turner. Not quite a Cooper DeJean interception, but it goes out of bounds and it'll stay with the Bombers.
Right now, both teams, it's been all interior. Both sides 0 for 2 from deep, trying to penetrate inside.
How about Lasith? A give and go back to Wendell, who inbounded the ball. Outside to the corner for Lasith again. This 3 will fall. Missed the first one, was able to get second chance points, but now he gets his get back from deep. 8-9 the score. Bombers down by 1. 15 to go here. Ditzel will do a floater from 15 feet out on the NCAA logo on the far side. It'll fall. 11-8 now.
It seemed like RIT there was kind of not caught off guard with the Bombers' pace.
RIT, a team that's trying to slow Ithaca down. A 3 launch by Holmes deep off the right wing. It won't go. Outlet pass now underneath to Bowen after the fast break. He'll spin around, put it off the glass. It won't go. Rebound by the guard in Wendell. Outlet to O'Neal, looking like Luka Doncic and LeBron James. His shot won't fall. Gets it back to the left corner for Jalen O'Neal, and his 3 will also not make it in. Corner now, it's Brody Brown. Whips a pass to the top of the key. Caggiano now left wing, drains the 3. A 14-8 lead. Bombers on the other end of what we were expecting to start things out here, Cam.
A really strong start for RIT, a new combination of a starting 5.
A lineup that has changed pretty fluidly so far this year as Lasith has it with his back to the basket. Feeds one in the lane to Evan Cabral. A nice give and dish. An assist for Chris Lasith and a basket for Evan Cabral, the sophomore. Caggiano now on the other side, working against the sophomore in O'Neal. He plays a pest on defense, holding his right hand at your left hip. Turner now on the other side. He spins underneath the basket. An overhand pass outside. Brown launches from 3. It's money. A hot start from deep 2 for 4 for the Tigers so far tonight. Wendell on the NCAA logo from the right side. Feeds back up top for Jalen O'Neal. A handoff to Aiden Holmes at that same spot. Pivots at the right elbow. Now feeds outside for Evan Cabral. O'Neal now a deep launching three from the left wing. High off the back iron and into the hands of Zach Ditzel.
1 for 6 from 3 of the Bombers.
That's an identity that they've held all season long, Cam. Kind of a factor. Just look at how they did from 3. You can probably guess if they won or lost the game. Bowen now trying to keep things going from deep range. He laces one from 25 feet out, and that will send things to a timeout and to the sideline for Matt Giavone with more coverage.
Guys, Coach Fareed talked all week about the toughness of the Liberty League and how even a team like RIT can provide a challenge. So far, down 10, they've seen just that. And Coach Fareed, a bit uncharacteristically quiet so far on the sideline. He didn't talk for the first 4 minutes of game time, just letting his players figure out this competition. And he said, we like to use the competitiveness of the Liberty League to motivate our guys to stick out the process. Even during this timeout, letting his players talk through things instead of being in the huddle for the first bit of the timeout. Just letting his players figure things out up against a really tough opponent in the Liberty League. Guys, back up to you.
And Cam, every single team is tough in the Liberty League. Talked about this with Coach Fareed just recently, how you never really can be too sure what is a safety game. There really is no safety games.
It's such a deep conference. 1 through 10, any team can beat any team. RIT has played very close with some of the best in the conference. They had a 5-point loss not too long ago against RPI. Skidmore is that bottom team with just 1 win. They beat Vassar, the number 2 team in the conference. So it makes this conference so fun because no matter the game, Tuesday night, Friday, Saturday, whatever it is, you have to play your best basketball because any team could sneak up on you. And this RIT team, it's a team under a first-year head coach that's looking to play spoil ball this time of year.
Absolutely, and they still have a chance to fight for a playoff spot if things play out to their advantage. But it will take a lot, and the Bombers on the other side control their own destiny. They need to play to their strengths if they want to host playoff games. We haven't seen them do that in a little bit. Ranked first in the Liberty League after the regular season in Coach Fareed's second year, but they lost in the first round there. New lineups for both sides. Bombers will check in Cole Wissink and Alex Penders in exchange for Aiden Holmes and Chris Laseth. Nolan Smith comes in the game, as well as Chase Dickens.
And this is a rotation for the Bombers where it spreads the floor so much. Penders and Wissink could be in both corners. This is where the three-point shooting kind of comes alive with the rotation they have here is there's a clock issue at the moment.
And both of those players, as you mentioned, they love to shoot the deep ball. If anything, it's their offensive specialty that they look for in their possessions, which, you know, maybe to get your other guys who are now on the bench alive from 3, the teammates need to do it as well, as it's such an integral identity of your team. You need everybody to find some rhythm from beyond the arc.
And they've found ways to win lately without the three-point shooting. They're 7th in the conference in that area, and they showed that the last 2 weekends, but they play their best when the perimeter shooting is there.
Logan Wendell, he was doubled for a moment, now kicks it back out to the left wing. Evan Cabral, his shot won't fall from 3. He'll get his own rebound from the same spot he took it. Top of the key now is Logan Wendell. Hasn't had a shot fall tonight. Kicks it out to Jalen O'Neal. Drives the left alley. Floats a shot up. In and the foul. Jalen O'Neal, what a rise we've seen from him so far this season. I kind of been thinking of nicknames for him. How about Jalen O'Neal, the highlight reel? Got that one from Colin Martin.
Every single week it seems like he just pulls something out of his bag, expands his level of talent.
There really is not much he can't do on both sides of the ball. We've seen him snatch rebounds like a 6'5" player, snatch blocks too off the backboard. He'll have it here on the right wing after sinking his free throw and getting the possession from RIT on the other side. Drives the basket, Euro step off the window and down. Bombers making a 5-point charge in their favor after the timeout. Score is 20-15 with 12:20 to play. Top of the key, Ditzel moves to his right. A kick to the right wing for Brock Bowen. Close defense by Cabral. He'll have to pick the ball up with 2 hands. Left wing now, Caggiano starts his dribble, 5 feet off the three-point line. Steps inside now and gets it intercepted by Logan Wendell. Outlet here to Jalen O'Neal. Down the right side at the basket. Jelly with his right hand. What a shot by O'Neal. He's responsible for all 7 points the Bombers have last had.
Wendell, full court pass. O'Neal, jumping catch, going the other way, full speed.
Top of the key, Brock Bowen. He gets it back on the right wing. Moves to his left, floats a pass underneath. How about Nolan Smith right at the basket? Let's see how many Super Bowl references we can get here. Nolan Smith, a defensive end for the Eagles. Do an effort on both sides of the ball. Alex Penders launches one from three. Can't quite get it. Rebound by Logan Wendell. Looking for his first shot of the night. Slips underneath his defender. Off the glass and down. Bombers coming alive offensively here.
And now the Bombers are showing if their speed is there, they could speed this game up and get really this RIT team sleeping.
Matt Caggiano takes a three. Actually doesn't. Kicks out for insurance. It's Bowen. This team alive from deep. And a timeout by Coach Dominic Parker after RIT get their 5th point here after the timeout. Bombers cut the lead from 10-6, but still with work to do.
Their 4th three-pointer right now for RIT. Kind of looking how the Bombers looked on the road. You go all the way back to this meeting that was way back in January. Ithaca won the game 99-73. This Bomber squad, they put together a clinic from downtown. They made 19 threes to win that game. RIT using that same medicine at the moment.
Absolutely, but it's not something you can really replicate, hitting 19 threes. We saw them do similar stuff to Union on the road. They haven't really been able to find that same fire, but it's just about hitting at a high percentage. The Bombers are a team who have a couple guys on this roster who can do so. Evan Cabral, 43% from deep. Believe it or not, Chris Lasith, a decent clip from that range as well. A lot of players on this team who can activate that deep ball, but scoring underneath has also been the identity of this Bombers team. Coach Freed has emphasized it time and time again that the 2 shots he likes are the 3-point and the free throw, and you can't get to the free throw line without charging the basket.
And these aren't contested threes like the Bombers are taking bad shots. They're 1 for 8 from downtown. These are open threes that are just not clanking in their favor. At some point they're going to fall, but of late it's been the second half where they kind of fall in the final 5 minutes and this team crawls back. But as long as they keep the RIT push not too far out of their reach, they'll stay in the basketball game.
They've gotten away with it. A couple three-pointers, offensive rebounded by the Bombers. They have 3 to RIT's 1 at the moment. Padilla will check into this game and replace Jalen O'Neal. How about Logan Wendell? A spin-around shot. It won't fall, or rather he kicks it away. He doesn't like his shot. 11 on the clock. Here's Evan Cabral down the baseline. Kicks to Cole Wissink on the right block. It'll hit last off an RIT Tiger and stay with the Bombers.
Cabral there, a chance for a reverse layup. Likes the good look on the pass. Is trying to do a little bit too much to Wissink.
Player who loves to charge underneath and look for his teammates. He'll lose it here, but Logan Wendell is able to keep it alive. Euro steps to the basket. It will get blocked there by Bowen as the shot clock expires. Bowen now left wing. Chest past right wing here for Nolan Smith. Now it's Dickens. Dickens working to his right. Pivots off his right foot. Right free throw line extended. Now the left wing for Brown. Brown gets it underneath to the newly checked in Luke Granto. Granto spinning around, double teamed by Padilla and Penders. Goes to the right corner. Now back outside for Bowen. Bowen's 3-point shot won't go. Rebound by Padilla. He charges fast on a 1-on-3 to the basket. Behind his back, throws up the shot. Doesn't fall, but a foul call.
A little bit of a late whistle there with Padilla going to the basket. Sold it very well, going from his right to his left hand. He'll have 2 shots coming up, but that's, again, the Bombers doing what they do best in transition. You get that extra possession, you get a good stop, and you get yourself to the free throw line, too. You kind of calm down the game, especially when you're down by 6 points, now 5.
Coach Freed said, we don't play fast. We play with tempo. And it's almost like a calculated fast pace is, I think, what he refers to when he says that, where you want to slow the game down in certain senses, but also put pressure on the opponent's defense to stay on their heels and not be ready for what's coming next. Padilla will hit both from the free throw line and cut the deficit to 4. Granto left wing, hands it off to Mark Osame. Osame back to Granto left wing. Wissink on the defense. Here's Granto. A right-handed shovel pass to the right wing for Brown. Brown steps inside, looking for a pass underneath the basket to Nolan Smith. It won't fall, and intercepted by Jose Padilla. A couple defensive standout plays so far for the sophomore. How about Alex Penders with his heels on the left wing 3-point line. Slips a pass underneath. Logan Wendell gets his 4th points and a much-needed basket for the Bombers. They're within a possession now. Chase Dickens, right wing, steps inside, kicks back out. Granto a deep three. It won't fall. Rebound by Padilla. Padilla right wing, charges inside, kicks back out for Penders. Left wing now Holmes. Holmes an overhand pass deep out to Jose Padilla. He'll rub his chin with his left hand to call a play. Has it here, charges left alley, looking for a pass on the far side. His pass will be blocked, but a foul called on the way there. RIT's team fourth, which will stay for just an inbound for the Bombers. Logan Wendell to take it just right of the basket.
From Coach Freed on the bench, just pointing towards Penders, telling the offense to just slow down a little bit. Padilla gets lucky there with a foul.
Left block, how about Holmes? Spinning away, a fadeaway. One of the most difficult shots in basketball and proves to be too much for Holmes there. 25-23 with 9 to play. Right corner, Osame thinks about a shot, drives underneath a left-handed floater. Another one of the most difficult shots parallel to the backboard. Osame is not able to hit. Logan Wendell setting the table. Gets a pick to his right from Penders. Drives to the right side. Kicks out to the corner for Holmes. Now back up top for Penders. An overhand pass to the left wing for Wissink. Driving the right alley. Back outside to Holmes. Now to Padilla left wing. Padilla has ease. Steps inside. Euro step at the basket. It's an offensive foul against the sophomore.
Padilla just lowers the shoulder there at the last second, going from his left to his right, just a little bit too much arm, as Josiah Turner comes back in here for RIT. So the Bombers had that push. They do a good job. Lasith gets some rest. Turner gets some rest. Now both centers are back in. You wonder if that changes the pace of play and goes back to more slower interior basketball.
It almost was like a reactive substitution for Fareed once he saw Turner go in to get Lasith with him. A battle to watch for the final 28 minutes of this game. Right corner, it's Brody Brown. He gets it off to Granto. Granto losing possession, picked up by O'Neal. He's back in this game. O'Neal telling people to move fast. Steps inside, left wing kick out to Padilla. Driving baseline, spins around, and loses the handle. Had a great fake out against Granto, but comes to no fruition. And RIT will have it again. Granto going to come out in replace for Marcus Graves here. Going back to that point of the battle between Turner and Lasith. Cam, now that they're both back in, adjustments made for both sides, but how do you see this continue to develop underneath the basket?
Well, it really comes down to how can Lasith defend Turner, and does RIT now go back to working down low? They use the perimeter of late. They have hit 4 threes.
Lasith getting in help on the other side. Turner now picks up his defense. Turner stepping inside from the left wing, double teamed by Padilla and Lasith, kicks out to the right wing. Brown, a 3-point shot. It's just left. Another rebound for Jose Padilla. He's putting on a clinic in the board so far tonight. Wissink starts his dribble from the left wing, bounces it twice, and goes to the top of the key for Jalen O'Neal. A hip-high dribble as Coach Waleed Fareed calls a play from the bench. O'Neal backs all the way up to half court. Now he charges down the left alley. Back to the basket, fakes a pass outside, now goes for Lasith. His 3-point try, high off the front rim. Josiah Turner gets the rebound, 5 inches over Jalen O'Neal, who is the other one there. Marcus Graves now. A John Morant hairstyle. Right wing, it's Brody Brown. Back out to Graves. A deep launching 3. This one won't fall. That quick start for RIT from deep has settled.
Yeah, they've slowed down on the offensive side. The Bombers have too. The Bombers are 1 for their last 8 from the floor at the moment and are only down by 2.
RIT has only hit 1 for the last 5 field goals and 1 for the last 4 3-pointers. Another nickname for a man who just came on the floor, Yoav Regev, comes on. The rise of Regev, Cam. You've been on this boat for a while now. His development as the season's gone on has been extraordinary. How about O'Neal first before we get to him? Back outside, Wissink. A launching 3. That one buries it, but more on Regev.
Yeah, a guy that's come off the bench and played very loud minutes. 5 for 7 from 3 coming in, just 7 attempts, but all loud attempts in big parts of games.
Of every single sophomore last season, he's the one who you probably saw the least from of anybody. Injuries among factors because of that. Brown underneath the basket's going to try for something. But it just speaks to how deep this sophomore class is for the Bombers. I say this on how, lucky I am to be with this class for another 2 years and see how they develop. I mean, you have players that if you were to just look at their talent right now, you could expect them to be starters by their senior year. But with how many players there might not be enough.
And for Cabral, O'Neal, Regev, all 3 of those guys in Penders, you got a Padilla there as well. That's a starting 5. All 5 of those guys could compete against any team in the conference, and especially that middle pack. Would it be tough for 5 sophomores to be an RPI on a consistent basis? Yes, but those 5 have the ability and play valuable minutes right now.
Brown at the free throw line hits his first and will not hit his second. A rebound by Cabral. You missed one, Cam. David Luberoff, who frankly could be the best of all of them. We haven't seen what he can bring yet. Has been out this season, got shoulder surgery around December, which has left him out for the year. But Coach Farid called him a presence we haven't had since Luka Radovic. And if you don't know who Luka Radovic is, one of the better basketball players that this Ithaca men's basketball team has had in the past half decade. A right wing 3 for Jalen O'Neal. It won't fall. 26-26 the score with 6 to play in the first half. Matt Caggiano at the top of the key, drives to his right, a couple steps, it won't go, fouled on the way there. And a tie ball game looking to be broken.
It's really all because right now RIT is just slowed down mightily. They came out just firing from 3. They were 4 for their first 6, now 4 for 10, so they've slowed down in that department. It's kind of slowed down the game, and the Bombers have now been able to control the pace and transition, have got to the free throw line. So they've flipped things on the head as Caggiano misses the first free throw, but they're still 2 for 11 from downtown and now have to adjust and find a different way to succeed.
Black sneakers for Caggiano to match his jersey as he lifts the second and through the netting. 27-26, the Tigers lead here from Ben Light Gymnasium on Bomber Sports. Devin Jarvis, Cam Manna, and Matt Giavoni under coverage. He's on the sideline. We'll have him for an update coming up soon. Here's Evan Cabral, swinging it out to the top of the key. Lasith underneath, gets a reach and foul called against Josiah Turner. These big guys, players you want to watch after, make sure they don't get into foul trouble. That'll only be Turner's first so far this afternoon, but the team's 5th, only 2 more, and the Bombers will head into the bonus. O'Neal, a give and go between Lasith. He has it back now off the inbound. Snipes one to the left wing for Yoav Regev. Back outside now for Lasith. He tries a 3. Has tried 4 so far tonight. He'll only hit 1 and miss 1 right there. Marcus Graves stepping inside, losing his handle. Ball's on the floor. He's able to keep it. Insurance goes outside. Top of the key now Caggiano. Fakes right, goes left. Kicks out to the left wing for Brody Brown. Brown pivoting off his right, goes for Turner at the top of the free throw line. Steps back, aims for a shot, but it won't fall. Bombers still down by 1, 5 to play here in the first half. And Bombers now slow things down. O'Neal, a cross dribble at center court. Gets a pick from O'Neal to his left. Drives the left alley. Now back out to Lasith. A 3-point shot and buries it. I mean, the offensive approach for Lasith is nothing we've seen, even remotely close to what has been this season so far for him. 2 for 5 from deep so far tonight. 4:30 on the clock here, and the score 29-27 with the Bombers on top. Brody Brown left wing, heaving one to the outside for Matt Caggiano. Pins at his right hip, now moves to his left. Picks up his dribble, looking for Brown on the left, high block extended. Ball comes underneath, a big block from Lasith. Turner gets the offensive rebound, trying to go back up with it, can't go. How about the other side? O'Neal, highlight reel at the basket. Not quite to expectations, but a nice and easy finger roll off the glass and in to get the job done. 10 points for the sophomore tonight. Caggiano driving underneath. He'll get foul on the way there, the team's 5th.
How about Lasith on both ends? Just a 3-point shot where there's no hesitation. That's the confidence of the freshman improving. He's expanding his game to a different level, and he felt that block the whole entire way. A guard tries to go one-on-one with Lasith down low. Kind of had a smile on his face to pin that off the backboard.
Yeah, slapped that one. Went loose, and the rebound was got by Josiah Turner, but a disruption that was felt all across the floor by Chris Lasith. Brock Bowen underneath, out to Caggiano, now Brown. Moving the ball fast around the horn. Top of the key, back to Caggiano. Crosses between his legs on the right wing. Snipes the pass to the top of the key. Bowen a deep launching 3. It won't go off the front of the rim and out to the right sideline. Holmes will let it go out of bounds to slow things down. Our leading scorers here tonight are O'Neal and Lasith. 4 for 9 so far from Lasith. 5 of those shots from deep. Going to be interesting to see how he continues this game as O'Neal pulls up from the top of the key. It won't go off the back iron.
And his season high 16 points in the opener against Cortland.
That was a fun game to watch. Earned Liberty League Rookie of the Week with it. How about a left wing 3 from Brody Brown, spiraling through. Barely got that one, but maybe a resurgence that the Tigers have needed to get back on track. 31-30 The Bombers are on top with 3 to play. Left free throw line extended. It's Jalen O'Neal. Skips the pass to the top of the key for Logan Wendell. Now goes to the outlet for Evan Cabral and back underneath for Lasith. Lasith goes back outside right wing for Logan Wendell. His three-point shot won't fall. Gets his own rebound, back to the left wing. Lasith, his three-point shot too strong. An air ball picked up by Caggiano. Caggiano getting things to Bowen. Bowen back to Caggiano, 5 feet off the three-point line on the right wing. Pestering defense with his left hand, guarded by Jalen O'Neal. Back underneath to Josiah Turner, and a blocking foul underneath before the shot is called. 2 foul shots coming, and Josiah Turner's shot, 1 shot rather, as they first called it 2. So an and 1 opportunity coming for Josiah Turner. Excuse me for the confusion. And Turner looking to make it a full 1-possession game as RIT leads 32-31. A much lower scoring first half than we were expecting, Cam.
Especially since last time where the Bombers came out firing, RIT shot the ball well. This one a lot more gritty, and it's kind of what you get this time of year. You get more of a defensive-oriented. You want the defense to travel. There's a lot more high-volume intensity.
We get a full 3-point play from Josiah Turner. It's 33-31 with the Tigers over the Bombers. Ball rolls up the floor, and finally Jalen O'Neal picks it up at the timeline. Left wing, he has it. Gets a pick from Penders. Spins underneath, back outside to Penders, and now to Logan Wendell. Wendell over his head, goes to the right wing for Evan Cabral. Cabral now with limited action tonight. Bounces one in the left corner for Jalen O'Neal. He'll pull up from 3. It's money. Jalen O'Neal, 13 points so far tonight. 34-33 the score. Reach and foul by Evan Cabral. On the right wing on the other side, Ditzel draws that one and will head to the line as RIT is now in the bonus for the 1-and-1.
And that right there for the Bombers, their 17th attempt from downtown. They've only hit 4, but you feel right now, too, as a plus for how poor they've shot from downtown, to continue to do it on the open threes and not fade away from what worked early on in the year. You have to like to see that. They've got 17 open attempts. We haven't really seen any contested threes so far tonight.
And the Bombers have started to find a little bit of rhythm in that area. Still 1 for the last 4, but could be 3 for the last 6 from deep. Both shots made by Ditzel, and sticking to that 3-point identity. Let's see if they do it for these final 2 minutes of the first half. Jalen O'Neal crossing over from the right wing. Goes to the top of the key for Evan Cabral. Finds Logan Wendell, left free throw line extended. Penders now a 3-point shot from the left corner. They don't hesitate at all. A 3-point shot drilled by the sophomore and Alex Penders to give the Bombers the lead, 37-35.
For Penders hit 2 big threes on Saturday against RPI.
Keeping that going. How about Caggiano to respond? It won't go. Evan Cabral with a silly effort on the rebound. Kind of hits off his right hand. He wasn't expecting it and will stay with the RIT Tigers. An uncommon error we see from Evan Cabral. Caggiano outlets this one from the baseline. Brock Bowen now back underneath to Caggiano. Behind the basket at the baseline. Goes back outside for Bowen. He'll launch the 3. A foul called. Or rather, stepping on the sideline. Excuse me.
Really close. And I was actually talking to Matt Giavoni about this pregame. In the last few games, I haven't seen so many players on both teams inside this gym step out of bounds on corner threes. You don't see it super often. It might also be deceptive just how close the bench is, but we've seen it very often over the last 4 games that we've covered.
And oftentimes a thinner line, you usually can see the court being one floor and the sidelines and everything else being a whole entire different color. Now Logan Wendell fading away for a shot from the left block. It won't fall. A slow start for the senior tonight with only 4 points. Caggiano on the other side, kind of the Cabral equivalent for the Bombers leadership-wise. He's in the left wing. An overhand pass to the top of the key for Bowen. Thinks about a shot, steps to the free throw line underneath his defender and floats the shot in off the back rim and down. 37-37 your score. Top of the key, Logan Wendell. Thinks about a 3, now directing traffic. Hands it off to the left wing for Cole Wissing. Wissing can hand off to the right wing for Jalen O'Neal. And now it goes back to the captain in Logan Wendell. 13 to play on the 30. Trying to get past his defender here. Cole Wissing down the baseline. Ball will stay with the Bombers as it's knocked out on the short corner.
And they're just running into each other at the moment right now. No spacing. Wendell asking for a screen. Hands off to Wissing. Just really no direction on that possession there from the Bombers.
Here's Logan Wendell, slaps the basketball. O'Neal, almost an alley-oop. Can't get the shot to go. Nearly the offensive rebound. It won't fall. A player you could probably expect to get a full alley-oop. He just elects for a layup, and it won't go.
And it's funny, too, because Lasith was right there next to him, and it just shows O'Neal's athleticism. He can almost get very close to the Lasith vertical for an alley-oop. Just missed the lay right there as the Bombers bring in Tommy McKiernan.
Well, it's almost like O'Neal and Lasith switched traits. O'Neal, a guy you expect to be super speedy, he is, but the fastest guy on the team, believe it or not, Chris Lasith. And O'Neal's the guy who can jump out of the gym, who you maybe expect the big man to be that guy. Caggiano top of the key, guarded by this freshman in McKiernan. He's hugging his right side. Caggiano doesn't like any shot. Shot clock and game clock almost in sync. Goes to the right wing here for Danny Cohen. Cohen floats up a shot, a big one nearly at the buzzer. Launched by McKiernan, right hand, it hits high off the backboard. Almost thought he had a chance there, but that will end things here in the first half. Cam, a tie ball game. If I told you that before this half started, you wouldn't have expected that result, but why has RIT been so successful to begin?
Well, they shot the free ball very well to start. They gave them a cushion, and they were able to kind of work the interior, crash the boards extremely well. They're winning in the rebound department 22-16, but the reason the Bombers are still in this, Devin, 1 turnover for Ithaca, 8 for RIT. That's why the Bombers are still in this game. They're forcing turnovers right now. They have more second chance points. RIT, 0 second chance points. So 2 factors that have changed this game.
Yeah, Bombers down in the rebound department, and we'll have Matt Giavoni in just a moment here. Matt, why don't you take things away for us with Coach Waleed Fareed.
Coach, you've talked this season about how you guys can beat teams in many different ways. Going into this game, a bit of a slow start from 3, then you guys were able to find some success in the paint to get back into the game. Is there any adjustments that you need to make in the second half in where you're trying to find success?
Yeah, we've got to get stops. We got back in the game once we started getting stops and fueling our offense with our defense. Then we let up again and let them get all about the defensive side for us.
And then you've talked about intensity, the difference between winning and losing a close Liberty League game. How is the intensity so far today, and do you want to see more in the second half?
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more consistency. It's been up and down throughout the half.
Thank you, Coach.
And with that, you get your takeaways for the second half. Cam, that intensity in getting those stops, it's kind of a low-scoring game. I mean, you set this up for a full game, it'd be right around 75-75. But the Bombers right now are needing a jump start to get themselves back in this game, and so far it hasn't been there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of back and forth, but again, it comes down to the Bombers doing better on second chance points, and they're turning over the ball a lot less. It just comes down to if they can hit a few more threes, the volume is there. Ithaca overall played a more, I would say, half that you can sustain with than RIT. We'll see if that holds true in the final 20.
Well, we'll have to find out after a short break. Johnny Lisi and Luke Fitzpatrick on your halftime coverage before Cam and I join you for the second half of play in just about 12 minutes. We'll see you after this short break here on Bombers Sports YouTube. Stay with us.
And we welcome you back to Ben Light Gymnasium here on Bomber Sports. Alongside Luke Fitzpatrick, I'm Johnny Lisi. RIT leads at halftime 39-37. And Luke, that's really largely in part to RIT's red-hot start, especially from Josiah Turner.
You're absolutely right, Johnny. Really great start for RIT. Really a sluggish start for the Bombers, in my opinion. It was 20-10 when Coach Fareed called that timeout. Bombers just a little bit behind in their rotations. Some hot shooting out of RIT, 4 for their first 6 from beyond the arc. They've cooled down, but still almost 39% from that area. This is the second best three-point shooting team in the conference, over 34% on the season. So if the Bombers want to win this game, they're going to have to find a way to slow down the Tigers in the second half.
Well, and you talked about that sluggish start from the Bombers. It was a lack of defensive effort in those first 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah,
it really was. It was not the Bombers' best performance by any stretch, especially on the boards. The Bombers are losing the rebounding battle right now, 22-16. They've done a pretty good job on the offensive glass, but not a good enough job on the defensive glass, clearly. And a surprise score at halftime right now, losing 39-37.
Yeah, not the start that we expected. You just look at it simply on paper. RIT 7-13, Ithaca 12-8. RIT only 3-10 in the Liberty League. Now, looking at Ithaca, they kind of clawed their way back into it with a pretty solid shooting performance through the middle stretch of the half. Jalen O'Neal is 5 for 11 with 13 points. Chris Lasith, 4 for 10 with 10 points. I mean, how important were those two guys in that hot offensive performance midway through the half?
They were very important, and, we don't normally think of Chris Lasith as a three-point shooter. He shot 6 of them in the first half and knocked down 2 of them. So, if Lasith is going to be open and he's going to knock him down 33% of the time, I'm sure that Coach Fareed would take that just about every single time. And you mentioned Evan Cabral. The last time that these two teams matched up, Cabral had a career-high 23 points and 6 three-pointers made. So a very slow start for him, just 2 points in this contest. Looking for him to really heat up in the second half if the Bombers want to pull away with this come-from-behind victory.
You got to love the big man, Chris Lasith, shooting some threes, but maybe some sets that Coach Fareed should drop, getting him inside. But you look at other players like Logan Wendell, only 4 points. Alex Penders had a big 3, but aside from Jalen O'Neal and Chris Lasith, not a lot of performance points-wise for the Bombers. A lot of different players got in off the bench. And how important is it for Coach Fareed to mix in some of those players from the bench?
It's going to be very important. I mean, if this is not going to be Evan Cabral or Logan Wendell's night, then it's going to be very important to mix in some of those guys on the bench. You mentioned that the big three-pointer by Cole Wissink there. So, Chris Lasith has already had 10 shots in this game. So we talk about him in the three-point shooting, but we're going to, in this second half, you would imagine Coach Fareed would like him to try to get to the rim more rather than shoot those threes. If the game plan is to try to match the Tigers 3 for 3, then, so be it. First half, it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, you look at the shooting performance. RIT shooting 38.5% from 3. Ithaca only shooting 27%. RIT shooting 50% from the field. Ithaca only shooting 40%. But you look at the defense here. Ithaca's defense I feel like it's one of the main points. Ithaca's defense went out to a sluggish start. They woke up a little bit, but this still isn't the defense for the Bombers that you want.
No, it's not. I will say one positive note on the defense is that this RIT Tigers team, they do turn the ball over a lot. They're averaging 14 turnovers per game. So the Bombers have done a good job of that in the first half. They forced 8 turnovers, the worst turnover margin as well for RIT in the Liberty League. This is a team that is careless with the ball, so a good job creating those 8 turnovers, and it really felt like it in that first half. If it weren't for those 8 turnovers, this could be a much uglier score right now, but they're going to need to do they're going to need to continue that in the second half. And the 2 things that RIT does best, rebounding and the three-point shooting, the Bombers have not done a good job slowing them down at all. 39% from beyond the arc, as we mentioned, and winning the rebounding battle by 6 at this point.
Well, when you look at turnovers on Ithaca's side, Ithaca only has 2 turnovers. But something for the Bombers that you really need to look out for is just the speed, because Ithaca's speed up the court in transition was not where Coach Fareed would have wanted it to be, and especially in such a crucial game.
Yeah, it definitely was not. And this is a very crucial game for the Bombers. A quick turnaround after the loss to RPI, but not the defensive level of focus that you would have wanted in this first half. I'm going to flip that and talk a little bit about the RIT defense, because this is the worst defense in the Liberty League. They're allowing almost 78 points per game. So while we're talking about how it was a sluggish start defensively for the Bombers, they weren't their normal selves on offense either. They did shoot 40%, but they need to create more second chance opportunities. They need to be better from beyond. If this game plan is going to be to match the Tigers from three-point land, they're going to need to do so more efficiently here in the second half.
Well, and something of note, you talked about that game against RPI. Morgan and I talked about it a lot in the pregame show, that Ithaca just couldn't play a full 4 quarters, and they couldn't play down the stretch against a very good Engineers team. And the Bombers went from playing the best defense in the Liberty League and the RPI Engineers to playing the worst defense in the Liberty League with RIT. But how do the Bombers kind of get that last game against RPI out of their memory and play better down the stretch?
Well, the concerning thing is that it almost, was kind of a carbon copy of the game the previous week against Union, where it was a big second half lead built up by the opponent, and then the Bombers, it was too little too late, and they couldn't really come back into the game. Obviously on Saturday here against RPI, the Bombers with those offensive rebounds, unable to get a three-pointer to fall. So, this three-pointer problem rearing its ugly head once again. So they're going to need to do a better job in that category if they want to win. I understand that this is not a team that shoots a lot of threes in talking about the Ithaca Bombers, but RIT, they don't shoot a ton of threes either, but they shoot it at a very good clip. So the Bombers are going to have to be very efficient in that area in the second half. One positive note to take away defensively that I will say, Marco Syme and Chase Dickens, both 39% from 3 on the season. The Bombers didn't allow them to get a single three-point shot off in this first half.
Yeah, that was huge for the Bombers. Now, looking ahead to the second half, we'll start with the Tigers of RIT. Who is one player for RIT that really needs to step up to further this lead and get a massive upset win in the Liberty League?
Well, I'm gonna say that it has to be. I'm gonna go with Josiah Turner, because I know he's got those 9 points and 7 rebounds for this game, but it hasn't really felt like his effort defensively has been there. Chris Laseth is kind of doing whatever he wants out there. He's gotten buckets in the paint. He's gotten those 2 3-pointers from beyond the arc. So offensively, he's got those 9 points and the 7 rebounds, but Laseth is kind of bullying him down low a little bit. So from beyond the arc, the Tigers have been more efficient and the better team. Down low, the Bombers are winning in that category.
Now, that is a perfect transition to the Ithaca Bombers. Who needs to step up for Ithaca in this second half?
For me, it's Evan Cabral. Big 23 points. The last time these two teams played, that was his career high, and a 21-point performance over the weekend. Just 2 points in this first half. He's got to be better in the second half. One positive note I will say, Jalen O'Neal, 13 points. When he is in double figures, the Bombers are 7-1 on the season.
And what are your keys to the game? We'll stick with Ithaca. If you're Coach Waleed Fareed, what are your keys to the second half?
I'm going to try to get Chris Laseth going downhill more and find look, there's nothing you can really do if the shots aren't falling, but creating more open shots from beyond the arc. Some of the three-pointers that the Bombers were taking were a little bit ill-advised and almost trying to match that of the Tigers.
And for the RIT Tigers, what are the keys to the game if you're head coach Dominic Parker?
I'm going to say, really just continue what you were doing in that first half because it was working. One thing to improve upon, I will say, is ball security. 8-2, -6 on the turnover ratio is obviously, that's pretty atrocious to put it bluntly. So they're going to have to take better care of the ball and try to create more turnovers defensively. The Ithaca Bombers team that takes pretty good care of the ball and does a good job creating turnovers defensively. Tigers are going to have to find ways to push that turnover margin more towards it being even.
Well, that will do it here for the halftime show. Alongside Luke Fitzpatrick, I'm Johnny Lisi. We'll get you back over to Cam Manna, Devin Jarvis, and Matt Giavoni for the second half right here on the Bomber Sports YouTube.
Final home game of the regular season for the Bombers, and we enter half number 2 here from Ben Light Gymnasium. It's 39 for the Tigers and 37 for the Bombers after a one-sided first half turned into a back-and-forth battle. Alongside Devin Jarvis, Cam Manna with you. We're from Matt Giavoni shortly courtside 20 minutes left to go for the final home game, and the Bombers know desperately that you have to treat this right now like a playoff game, and Matt Giavone has more on that about how the defense can turn things around.
Guys, the offense started out a little bit cold today, going 1 for 8 from 3 and not really shooting the ball as well as they wanted to come in and shoot against this tough RIT Liberty League opponent. However, in a loss, you have to talk about the negatives. A positive for this team has been the defense. Down 10 early, the defense was able to get them back into this game, only down 2 at half. Coach Fareed said earlier in the week, quote, "We have to win possessions by forcing stops and ending them with defensive rebounds." That's exactly what the Bombers were able to do, holding RIT scoreless for 4 minutes and 30 seconds in a time period during that first half. And now they're looking for more good defense in order to take this game and take the win to move into tie for second in the Liberty League. Guys, back up to you.
A really good point, Matt, and the Bombers holding RPI on Saturday to 18 points in that second half. But it goes back to the story, the trend of this basketball team, Devin. Last 9 wins, 9 halftime leads. Last 3 losses, they've been down at the halftime break, and they changed that here down by 2.
Well, you look at the start of the season, they had a good amount of wins, but not a lot of halftime leads. Maybe they're going to have to dig back to what we saw in 2024 if they want to pull out a victory here today. This is a game they should win, Cam. This is a playoff game that they really can't afford to lose. But if you match these two teams against each other, you've had some success from Bowen from deep. He's been able to hit 3 for 5 from deep range. Also, Josiah Turner underneath finding success against Chris Lasith. But if you eliminate really the lackluster defense that you've had behind the arc, which really came toward the start of that first half, I think the way things are trending, the Bombers should win this game and will win this game.
Both teams bring out their starting 5 to begin in half number 2 on this Tuesday night from Ithaca, New York. The Bombers looking to hop themselves into second place in conference play. They'll start with possession and move from right to left. Jalen O'Neal top of the key. Logan Wendell just 4 points on the left wing. Lasith has the basketball. He shot 5 threes in that first half as the center and the freshman. Handoff Aiden Holmes straight away. Through the legs dribble, right-handed hesitation on the right elbow. Takes to Cabral back towards the logo. Jalen O'Neal on the left wing. Darts on the basket, lost the basketball. O'Neal is fouled. It's going to go down low against Zach Ditzel. It's going to be RIT's first. Foul trouble going to be a big factor, always is in the second half.
We saw it especially for the Bombers in that first half. They're going to have to play a lot more disciplined defensively and let their guards draw fouls when they drive the paint.
Right side of the basket, Wendell gets it into O'Neal. New 20 on that shot clock. Bombers shot 5 for 18 from 3 in that first half. Inlet pass, Lasith left elbow, swings Holmes, left corner 3. Holmes is fouled. He missed the shot, but he'll have 3 shots coming up to begin here for the Bombers. Fouled very heavily on that lower body. Holmes heads to the foul line for 3 chances.
It looks like Ithaca's already comfortable in their offense. You can tell that they have some sort of, comfortability in their own skin when they're not just passing it around the horn. Getting space underneath and passing it back and forth between your posts and your wings is really what you want to see. They've done that so far tonight. And Aiden Holmes, the stereotypical guy who's going to get you the 3-point shot, foul.
Holmes misses the first free throw. He's been struggling from deep, 21% from downtown in his last 4 games, but it was a big part of his success in mid-January. He will sink the second. Bombers down by 1. First 30 seconds of this second half. The Tigers 7-13. They have to win out to find a playoff spot. The Bombers sit in 3rd place at 9-4 in Liberty League play. Holmes makes the second, 2 for 3. It's his first 2 points of the night. Bombers tied at 39 and bring a full court press that now lays off. Brock Bowen, the senior, over midcourt. He's had a strong start here tonight. 12 points, a team lead, 4 for 7 from the floor. Finds Brody Brown, drives to his left side and floats it over Wendell, falls towards the hardwood, no foul. 41-39 RIT, Bombers the other way, coast to coast. Jalen O'Neal to his right side, he answers, and there's that fast-paced play the Bombers want to play.
Yeah, they exactly want to play that. Get the first lick you have to fall, and O'Neal likes his first opportunity and cashes in.
Here's RIT, they lost the ball, Brock Bowen a turnover, it's RIT's 9th. Bombers back from right to left. 18-49, we're tied at 41 in his second half. Cabral drives to his left, double clutch, right-handed floater. He missed the shot, fouled heavily. One of 2 shots coming up at the line is Cabral. 3rd foul against the Tigers here in this second half. Ithaca in that first half just attempted 5 free throws. They'll attempt their 4th and 5th here coming up. that's such a crucial factor that we just mentioned very shortly ago.
Yeah, and you could see these fouls coming into play like you mentioned, Cam, but their offense so far has been structured to get your guards to the basket, and that's what you can do so greatly is force the teams to make fouls, because Logan Wendell, Jalen O'Neal, and Evan Cabral might be smaller bodies, but they all shine when they score in the paint, and that's what we've seen so far. Logan Wendell and Cabral, the two main guys, not shining so far tonight. You get them going, and this score will go for the Bombers.
Cabral now has 4 points. The slasher towards the basket. Wendell, as Jarvis mentioned, he has 4 points on 2 for 6 shooting. 43-41 Bombers. RIT from left to right. Brock Bowen guarded heavily from Wendell in the left corner. Down low, stolen away. Lasith was one-on-one with the center and Josiah Turner. O'Neal looks down low. Cabral now resets, right corner. O'Neal top of the key. Aiden Holmes left wing extended. Holmes now finds Wendell. The Bombers want to shoot it. Wendell does from the left wing. Front rim, backboard, no good. And a foul call that goes against the Bombers and Jalen O'Neal. Loose ball foul. It's their first.
To touch on that last possession for RIT, these turnovers still present in this second half. They had quite a bit. Bombers only won in that entire first half. If RIT keeps this up, this is where they're going to have the most trouble getting past Ithaca.
It was their 10th turnover right there on that pass from Bowen to Turner. Midcourt, Brody Brown falls on both knees, fouled from Holmes. Coach Freed can't believe it courtside. He almost feels that Brown kind of just fell over and lost control. Now the Bombers get themselves in their second foul, and Cole Wissink comes into the basketball game, takes out Aiden Holmes.
And these are the fouls you can have on a rebound or just bring the ball up the floor. You can get away with fouls off shots or ones that are in contested possessions, but sloppy ones like these are going to come back to bite you in 10 minutes.
Inbound in here for RIT, 20 on the shot clock. Caggiano, the 5th year, the southpaw point guard. Hands off Turner. Top of the key, 3 for Turner. He cashes in from downtown. Turner getting his groove back. He now has 11 points. Here's O'Neal for the Bombers. RIT a 1-point lead. 17:40 left to go. Cabral inlet pass, left elbow, Lasith. Posting up, ball at his hip. Fakes the dribble handoff to Wendell. Wendell plays ring around the Rosie. Resets O'Neal top of the key. They swing it to Cabral right wing. Bounce pass down low. Lasith, right block. He was blocked. Cabral the rebound. Puts it up, puts it in. And the Bombers' 8th second chance point.
A player that he's so special, where he can come out of nowhere and make a huge impact offensively. He does that just there.
45-44 as a foul called. Goes against Josiah Turner on a moving screen, and the Bombers will have it on the other way. It's now the 4th foul against the Tigers. 45-44, Ithaca in favor. Coming out here on a strong stretch in this second half. To begin, it was all RIT. They led by as much as 10 points with right around 12:50 left to go in that first half. Substitutions on the RIT side. They'll bring Zach Ditzel back into the basketball game. Josiah Turner comes out. Lasith still in. That's going to be a big factor at the center position.
Yeah, Turner with 3 fouls now.
Lasith, top of that key. Command signals with the right hand. Now finds Wendell, the point guard. Wendell, high teardrop. In and out, no good. But Lasith cleans up down low. 47-44 Bombers.
You'll see Ithaca to continue to attack the rim. They need to put RIT into foul trouble fast. It'll flip this game on its head.
16:50 left to go here tonight. Zach Ditzel, the sophomore, on the left elbow. Once down low, finds down low. It's Jackson Otis laying it in. The senior checking in. RIT now down by 1, shooting right around 53% from the floor as O'Neal goes to his left side. Fouled very hard down low from Brock Bowen. Going to be now the 6th foul against the RIT side, or 5th foul, excuse me. And O'Neal was in the act of shooting. He'll have 2 shots coming up.
What a night for O'Neal so far. 6 for 12 from field goal range, and overall O'Neal going to have 15, could make it 17 after these 2 shots. That's a broadcaster's drinks for you right there.
Yeah, first one no good from O'Neal, but a very strong night so far. 6 for 12 from the floor. He's done some work at the free throw line. His 6th attempt at the line. It goes through. The Bombers take a 2-point lead. 16:30 left to go in this second half from Benley. Bombers a full court press. Cole Wissink guarding heavily on Brock Bowen, the leading scorer. Zach Ditzel, the sophomore, his 3rd consecutive start. Dominic Parker in his first season said it's the best player in practice, but can he translate it to the game? Caggiano, the fifth-year top of the key, now finds Bowen guarded by Wissink. 10 on the shot clock. Left-handed hesitation, top of the key. Finds Caggiano. Caggiano swing pass, left corner three for Bowen. It's short off the left side of the rim. Cabral gets the long rebound. Bombers have numbers, but Cabral lost the basketball. Picks it up, though, in the right corner. Looks to save it, and Coach Fareed calls a timeout. Cabral almost picked up a turnover, just out of control on the other end. And Ithaca takes a second here with a 2-point lead and 16 minutes left to go.
And right now, Ithaca, like we've seen, have been able to attack the basket and draw fouls. Right now, RIT with 5. That's their offensive identity so far, Cam. As they continue to do that, the more success the Bombers will have.
We'll head down to Matt Giavoni courtside to talk about the rebounding battle between these two teams.
Guys, another similarity between these two teams is the defensive identity. Both teams want to defend and rebound at a high level, especially Coach Dominic Parker for RIT, which is how we're getting such a close game here on the defensive end. Both teams haven't given up many defensive second chances or second chance points to the opposing offense. Over 75% of the rebounds combined in this game have been defensive. Something to look out for throughout the rest of this game. Guys, back up to you.
And second chance points, also such a crucial factor. The Bombers with 11 second chance points. RIT has 0 second chance points. How that translates is a big part of who's going to conclude as the winner in this basketball game. Bombers out of the timeout on the offensive attack. They lead by 2 with 15:50 left to go. Jalen O'Neal, top of the key, leading scorer with 16. Left-handed dribble, now posting up towards the basket, finds Wissink on the right wing extended. Back to O'Neal straight away. O'Neal, right elbow jumper, puts it through and rattles it in. O'Neal with 18. Really strong start for O'Neal and the Bombers in this second half. A 50-46 lead. 15:30 left to go. Jackson Otis, top of the key, finds Brock Bowen left wing, Caggiano left corner. Working baseline, now double teamed, has to find Bowen. Catch and shoot 3 from the left wing. It's off the mark. Cabral tipped the basketball. It stays with RIT.
And Bowen, a player who launched it, was on fire from deep in that first half. Hasn't quite had that same luck here in the second. He's a player who needs to turn his playing right now to attack more from 3 and hit from that range.
RIT was 5 for 13 from 3 in the first half, now 1 for 3. They inbound. Brody Brown loses the basketball. He'll get it out midcourt as O'Neal tipped it. 10 on the shot clock. Ditzel, down low Caggiano. Bombers in a zone, but Caggiano, no problem, fading over Lasith on a massive mismatch in favor of the Bombers, but no doubt there for the Tigers. Down by 2, 14:53 left to go. Cabral, the sophomore, dribble handoff, Logan Wendell, Jalen O'Neal, far side right wing. RIT in a man-to-man. Logan Wendell darting to the left side. He was rejected. Brody Brown, the sophomore guard, with the block. RIT the other way. Caggiano darts to the right wing. It's a 3. It's off the left side of the rim from Ditzel, the sophomore, and the Tigers still down by 2.
Ithaca's slowing things down now, want to play it at their pace and listen to Coach Fareed here on the sideline. Still attack the basket is the way they want to play their brand of basketball.
They're 4 for 7 from the floor in this second half. O'Neal wanted Lasith top of the key, had it poked away. Full court pass, Caggiano to Ditzel, left-handed layup. Oh, man, he threaded the needle, and RIT ties it at 50.
Only the 3rd turnover we've seen all game from the Bombers, but 2 in this second half, just 6 minutes in.
Bombers quickly the other way. Cole Wissink, right wing 3. Back iron no good. Cabral can't get the rebound. O'Neal would have the assist. Here come the Tigers from left to right. Ditzel on the right wing. Swing pass. Left corner 3 for Brown. It's well short, but neither side can hold on to the rebound, and it kicks all the way out to Caggiano and RIT. The 5th year with the basketball, he has 6 points. Drives to his left, past Cabral, sped past him, and laid it in. 52-50 Tigers, 13:30 left to go in this second half.
Textbook baskets here from Caggiano. Had the fadeaway a couple possessions ago, and just slipping past Cabral there in a great way to put his team on top.
A jersey tug from Wendell. Drives to his right side, Cole Wissink right corner. His 3rd game back due to concussion. O'Neal on the left block, under the hoop, nowhere to go, got out of it, and somehow made the shot over Brock Bowen. O'Neal never seems to doubt and never seems to amaze with what he brings to the table. 20 points for O'Neal, and the Bombers tie it back up at 52.
A sequence of you thinking there's nowhere for O'Neal to go and then him making a basket right after you say that is not completely uncommon, Cam. He's a player who can create space when there is none. Does it there, and he's been putting on a clinic tonight, tying his career high already. We still got 13 minutes to play in the second half. Such a potent player who's been the spark plug and flint and steel for this Bomber team so far tonight.
And he had that career high against Clarkson back on January 17th. And early on in this season, when the Bombers opened up against Rowan, O'Neill came out with a bang with 20 points, but he's been waiting for that threshold to break and a career high to become a new career high for O'Neill. Timeout was called there on the Bombers side. 52-52 is the score. 13-11 left to go in this matchup on this Tuesday night. If the Bombers win, they tie themselves up for the second place spot in conference play with what would be 4 to go after tonight, all on the road for the Bombers once this game concludes.
But it's not going to be easy, as we can already feel a taste of it right now.
All playoff basketball from here on out for every team that wants to put themselves into playoff contention. Jackson Otis, the senior forward, dribble handoff on the left wing for Caggiano and RIT. Brock Bowen, left corner three. In and out, no good. Wendell got the long rebound. RIT now struggling from downtown. 1 for 6 in this half. Wendell straight to his left side. Too easy for Wendell. He has 6, and as always, heating up in the second half.
And a player we need to see more from in this second. Only a 2-point lead right now for the Bombers. That expands if Logan Wendell catches fire.
Left to right is RIT. Otis a left corner three on a quick pass. He airballed it. Wendell back-to-back rebounds for the Bombers. They lead 54-52. 12:20 left to go in this ball game. Cabral on the right wing. RIT stays in a man-to-man defense. Alex Pender's right elbow inlet pass. A jog dribble. Finds Cole Wissink. Back to Penders in the right corner. 10 on the shot clock. Wissink, right wing three. It's good. Wissink rising up from deep. 57-52 Bombers. And Wissink on the board.
That's their first three-pointer of this second half, Cam. They've only taken 3, sticking to the paint to draw fouls, but now finding a little bit of success in different areas, both sides of the ball.
Tigers from left to right. Ditzel in the right corner, the sophomore. Wanted the step back three. Couldn't find it and threw it out of bounds past Jackson Otis. And here comes the Bombers defense and some substitutions. Jose Padilla and Yoav Regev, the two sophomores, come in here for the Bombers, but Coach Fried has said this time of year he needs the identity of this team to be defensive efficiency. You're seeing it right now.
Yeah, and this is a moment right now where the Bombers are winning that defensive battle and need to run with it. We just saw a timeout. Coach Parker's not going to call one soon, but if they can continue to make stops on the defensive end, they're going to run away with a little bit of a lead here.
It was RIT's 13th turnover. Here are the Bombers from right to left. Alex Pender's left elbow. Padilla, left wing three. He was fouled and won. Padilla off the bench. Spark plug for number 13. Bombers by 8, and Padilla looking to convert here on a 4-point play.
And this is what we talk about. It's now an 8-point lead, not even a minute ago in real time. It was one possession, Cam. Things can change very fast. And without a timeout from Coach Parker, I see this being a run for the Bombers that they need to capitalize on. Offensively and defensively, things are being forced by the Tigers. If they can keep things in their direction, the Bombers are going to find a lot of success.
Padilla converts on the and one. Danny Cohen, the freshman over midcourt for RIT, has not played a lot of minutes. Drives to his right, lost the basketball, but lost it because Wendell had a reach-in, and Padilla will go on Padilla on a reach-in foul. Going to be the Bombers' third foul overall. Padilla will pick up his second. Had that big 4-point play for the sophomore off the bench, rising up with the contact. RIT inbounds on the right side of the hoop. Cohen top of the key. Now the Bombers back in his zone defense. Chase Dickens left wing three. This one's way off the mark. Dickens, the senior guard. Coach Dominic Parker says he's all league, but they love him off the bench as an Energizer bunny. Regev with the basketball, finds Penders top of the key. Penders has already hit 1-3 here tonight. Backdoor cut. Wendell, right block, 3 pump fakes. Now he's blocked. Ball all over the place, and Caggiano picks it up for the Tigers. Left to right is RIT over the Ithaca logo. They're down 61-52, 10:50 left to go. Chase Dickens, right wing extended, now drives. Cabral said, give me the basketball. Juked out of the defender. Here comes Cabral the other way. 14 turnovers for RIT, and Cabral goes coast to coast. Missed the bunny. Ball on the floor. Penders, can he pick it up? He does, but he stepped out of bounds, and it's back to the Tigers, so the Bombers cannot convert on the other end.
Things are playing fast here. Bombers need to slow things down on both ends. RIT doing a good job to stay in this game. And listen, they're forcing threes right now, but if they continue to force them and they start to hit, they're going to be back in this game before you know it. RIT, one of those teams in the Liberty League, they're so deep, right? They have the ability to come back into games with so much experience on their roster and so many people who can light fire and get the scoring going.
The second team in the conference in three-point shooting. Ditzel, free throw line jumper, nothing but net. That's what the Tigers can do. They can score at a large pace. 61-54 Bombers, 10-10 left to go. Padilla on the left wing. Pender's top of the key, overhead pass finds Regev on the right wing. Regev with the pink basketball shoes, lost the basketball, picked up from Cohen. Now the Bombers have the turnover bug. Here's Caggiano other way. Holmes slashed it away. Ball on the floor, back towards the Bombers. So both sides just trading turnovers. The pace becoming, it seems like too much for either side, even though the Bombers want to play fast.
They do, and the RIT Tigers want to slow the Bombers down. Ithaca loves to play fast, but I do think with the lead that you have right now, you keep things a little slower, as I just mentioned. And I think that's the game plan for the rest of this game with under 10 to go.
You don't have to move 100,000 miles per hour if you have this lead as the Bombers. Cabral with the basketball, Bombers with it. 9:40 left to go on the 61-54 lead. They find Penders in the left corner. He's fouled. Foul goes against Nolan Smith. Penders will head to the line here for a 1-and-1 opportunity. Bonus chances on the 7th foul here for the Tigers. That was a big talking point to begin this second half. Foul trouble, and if you have the lead, it helps you out so much for just free buckets.
And RIT's done a better job. Kind of these last 5 minutes have limited the fouls. But now that the Bombers are in the bonus, they're going to go on a run. And I think the smart decision is to bring O'Neal back in this game because he's been on fire tonight and a player you want driving the basket and getting to the free throw line. Whether he makes the shot or not, he's going to get fouled.
Penders made his first. He will not knock down his second, but Regev got the rebound on a right-handed tip. Finds Penders cutting. Middle of the paint. Slams the basketball. Throws it up. No good. Now everybody kind of playing volleyball, and it goes out of bounds against the Tigers off of Nolan Smith. Back to the Bombers. To your point about Jalen O'Neal, you would assume with maybe 8 minutes left to go, at the very latest, he'll be back in. 9:29 right now, and a 62-54 Bombers lead. Cole Wissink all the way at the half-court line. He's guarded by Chase Dickens, the senior guard for RIT. 14 on the time ticker. Alex Penders dribble handoff. Padilla, deep right wing three. In and out, no good, but Penders the rebound. Second chance. Wissink straight away three. Cash money. Wissink, his third three of the night, and the Bombers an 11-point lead.
We touched on him and Penders, what they can do from range, and we're seeing it, especially from Wissink so far. Great stuff from him.
Caggiano down low on the left block. Padilla poked it away. Padilla coast to coast. One-on-one opportunity. At the NCAA logo, he resets. Regev, swing pass. Holmes, left corner three. This one's no good. Back of the rim, but the Bombers another second chance point. Holmes got it. Left wing three. In and out, no good. On Wissink's rebound, Ithaca pounding in the rebounding department right now. 26 rebounds, and they are right now 11 in this second half as a timeout is called for Dominic Parker in his first season in RIT. So Ithaca in that first half, 5 for 18 from downtown. They began 1 for 11 from deep, but now they've hit 3 threes in the last 4 minutes on a 65-54 lead. We'll head back down courtside to Matt Giavone.
Guys, a big part of this team this season has been the different personalities that Coach Farid has been able to work with on this team. He calls this locker room exciting and interesting, and he says not only are the ages different, but the personalities are very different too. And when you look at the bench during these games, all of the upperclassmen and underclassmen just work so well together, being able to help each other when they're down and hype each other up when they're up. The Bombers lead by 11 now, and nobody has been happier about the success of some underclassmen like Chris Lasith and Jalen O'Neal than the upperclassmen such as Logan Wendell, who only has 6 on the night. Guys, back up to you.
That divide between the upperclassmen and the underclassmen for this basketball team, in a lot of different locker rooms, it can kind of play as an issue sometimes when the underclassmen are so good. Who are the vocal leaders? But Wendell, Holmes, and Bleibtree as the seniors all talked about how this team is so tight-knit that there really is no power struggle.
And you bring different cultural perspectives. Coach Farid talked about how ignorant in a good way, these sophomores are, where they don't have a care in the world sometimes, where you got the grouchy old seniors, and it brings a kind of balance to the locker room that I think every coach would like.
RIT out of the timeout under their own hoop. Josiah Turner, the lefty center back in the game. They swing it around to Cohen on the right wing, the freshman guard. Down low, Turner left block. He's fouled on the pass from Caggiano. And Turner to the line for 2 shots. It's the Bombers' 4th foul. Turner's been out of this game, but he began with the first 6 points for RIT. He now has 12 on 5 for 9 shooting. For a team that's second in the conference in 3-point shooting and want to crawl back in this game, their go-to might be Turner down low in the interior.
He was the one who started things off for them, had the first 6 points for RIT, and hit foul trouble a little bit. I think he is really the way RIT gets back into this game. They're down by double digits at the moment and need a way to find something on offense, which they haven't been able to do in recent time.
Turner goes 1 for 2 at the line. It's a 10-point game, 8:15 left to go. Bombers from right to left. Penders, top of the arc, has nowhere to go. Finds Padilla right wing extended. Padilla through the legs dribble. Hesitates with the left hand. Regev straight away. Regev, the sophomore, off the bench. 5 for 7 from downtown this season. Finds Padilla at the Bomber logo, 4 in the shot clock. Padilla from the parking lot. You bet! Padilla from way downtown, his second 3, and the range for the Bombers expanding.
His heels on the eye of the Ithaca logo. New zip codes we're shooting from.
68-55 Bombers, 7:40 left to go. The 5th-year, Marco Sime, goes down low Caggiano, swing pass right corner, Dickens, and he stepped out of bounds. RIT, their 16th turnover. It's going the other way. And a good point there from Padilla's 3. Dominic Parker on the RIT side said, the way the Bombers play, any guy can come up and just shoot a really deep 3. He mentioned Wendell would do it, but Padilla just did it.
And he'll be free, doesn't bat an eye, and Coach Freed talks about that. If his players take a 3 that they're comfortable with, he doesn't care. He's not going to criticize them for it.
Aiden Holmes, right wing, finds Padilla at the top of the key. He just hit that 3. Padilla drives left. Regev, left corner 3. He also stepped out of bounds. It's the 3rd time this game where both sides have stepped out of bounds looking to shoot 3s in the corner. Regev just a little bit too deep towards the Bombers bench. They pick up a turnover as Evan Cabral comes in for Regev. It's a 68-55 Bombers lead with 7:14 left to go. RIT led by as much as 10 points, but the Bombers have come out super strong in the second half.
And O'Neal's still on the bench. You don't really need him in the game right now. Want to get him well rested in case a charge comes back from RIT.
Caggiano finds Cohen, the freshman, right wing 3. Nothing but net from him from downtown. Has played such limited minutes. One of the few freshmen on this roster under a first-year head coach in Dominic Parker who did not recruit this guy. Padilla in the right corner, Bombers from right to left. Holmes straight away, Lasith down low, snatches the basketball in midair. Both players go down to the hardwood in Lasith and Osime, but blocking foul on Osime, and Lasith with 1-on-1 chances coming up. It's RIT's 8th foul.
Lasith, the player we haven't seen in quite a while, too. He's getting work underneath the basket. Fouls coming out. Josiah Turner wasn't the one on defense there, but still a strong point of how lethal this freshman has been all season. Not a player who Coach Freed expected to be catapulted into this role. He was catapulted and has seized the moment for sure.
A physical force for the Bombers. His first free throw is way off the mark. Turner grabs the rebound. It's a 10-point game, 6:40 left to go in this second half from Ben Lane. Caggiano to the left, he finds Turner. Top of the key 3. Front rim, back rim, no good. Padilla grabs the rebound on a one-on-one chance with Ditzel. Full court pass, Cabral. Cabral slithers to his left side. He was fouled on the floor, but either way, Cabral going to the line. He'll have free chances at the stripe. Free throws. Bombers going to pick up now their 12-13 attempts, just 5 attempts in that first half. RIT in major foul trouble, and when you're down by 10, it's the one thing that you do not want to be an issue. Cabral has struggled from the line this season, though, just 52%. First free throw is good. Ithaca 69, RIT 58, and back into the game is Jalen O'Neal. Has those 20 points, has matched a career high. Finds that 21. And gets a new career high. He's 8 for 14 from the floor for the sophomore. Cabral's second free throw. In and out, no good. Brock Bowen, the senior, brings it over midcourt. He has 12 points, second on the team here tonight. Down low is Cohen, the freshman. Little double reverse and a double clutch over Cabral. He's got 5 points in the last minute. 9-point game. O'Neal over midcourt. Cabral on the left wing. Dribble handoff. Wissink. O'Neal now calling out plays. Finds Holmes back to O'Neal. O'Neal middle of the paint. Wants to get rid of it. Has the right pivot foot. Resets to Holmes all the way by the Bombers' fence. Now he's at midcourt at the Ithaca I. 8 on the shot clock. Lace it to Holmes. Down low. Right block. Holmes lays it up. Was falling over. Missed the shot. But he'll have 2 chances coming up at the charity stripe.
Kind of a last-ditch effort there. Bombers didn't really have anything for 25 seconds, and Holmes is able to get a shot up, which is huge. But we talk about these players a lot. Logan Wendell and Evan Cabral, the 2 top scorers, and the trends that they have when they score well and how Ithaca does. They both have less than 10 points.
As Holmes makes the first, that's a big thing for this basketball team because a talking point was they were, so far this season, have only won 2 games where Wendell's under the 15-point mark. Wendell with 6, Cabral with 7. This would be, again, for Coach Freed, maybe a uplifting win to win in a different way.
I think so. We haven't had a single game all season where both of these players have scored under 10. So it would be a first time here, assuming it stays that way for these final 5:45.
Holmes makes both, 71-60, 5:40 left to go. Brock Bowen in the left corner has to reset to Cohen, who's played a lot of minutes off the bench. Dribble handoff Bowen. Pump fakes the left wing 3. Now Turner left elbow. Posting up. Turner wants to go to work. O'Neal says, give me the basketball. Stole it away. O'Neal going coast to coast. Few hesitations. Works to his right side. Now Wissink. Catch and shoot right wing 3. It's an air ball. Just clipped the netting.
A little bit of a forced one there. Bombers need to play it a little slower. You got full 30 on the shot clock to take.
Caggiano to Ditzel left wing 3. He puts it through. RIT cuts it back to 8. And Ditzel now with 13 points. That ties a team lead for the sophomore off the bench. He has just missed 1 shot here tonight. Under 5 minutes, O'Neal at midcourt. Swiping the hand away from the defense from Cohen. Now Holmes right elbow. Almost fell down. Back to O'Neal at the Ithaca I. A left jab step. Drives to his left side. Kicks it out to Laceth, but he lost the basketball. It was tipped out of bounds on RIT. Bombers will inbound in front of the scores table with 5 on the shot clock as Logan Wendell looks to check in at the moment. Will they let him? Yes, they will, as Cole Wissink's going to come out for Logan Wendell. Bombers need a quick catch and shoot here. Wendell will inbound. Looking to close out this basketball game and jump into second place in conference play. Laceth, top of the key. Handoff Wendell. Once Holmes. Holmes, left wing 3 contested. Well short. Shot clock violation. And Coach Freed almost telling Aiden Holmes that maybe to just kind of get that shot up, he almost double clutched in midair instead of just launching it.
But also trying to avoid the foul a little bit. Aiden Holmes, a player you expect to embrace the foul. Him and Padilla are the guy on the team who takes charges and get those 3-point plays.
He was fouled from 3 before. Caggiano on the left wing over midcourt. Holmes picks up the foul. It's the Bombers' 5th. 4:29 left to go. Cole Wissink back in, takes Aiden Holmes out. That was Holmes' 3rd foul. Wissink has 0 fouls and 9 points. RIT not going away. They led by as much as 10 in that first half. Caggiano, the 5th year, driving to his right side, kicks middle of the paint. Turner, left-handed floater, and it just rattles through. RIT crawling all the way back. Now they cut the Bomber lead to 6 with 4:20 left to go, and Dominic Parker takes a timeout. So the Tigers fighting heavily here and playing with a lot of house money. And we'll head back down courtside with the timeout to Matt Giavone.
Guys, as we continue down, getting into the final stretch of this game, you have to look at what the Bombers have done the last 2 seasons in close games. Just a year ago, the Bombers were 0-3 in one-score games, including the last game of the season, which ended up eliminating them from playoff contention. This season, however, the Bombers are 4-2 in close games, in one-score games, I should say, and looking to continue with a positive record in that facet if it comes down to it in the end of this one. Devin, Cam, back up to you guys.
And it speaks of trends, too. We mentioned it coming into this second half. The Bombers, their last 9 wins, have led at every halftime mark. This one, they did not lead at the halftime break. They were down 39-37. What does this do, Devin, for a team if they can win with Cabral and Wendell under 10 points? They don't lead at half. They crawl back and win entering the final 4 games of the season.
Well, I think typically when you see those 3 things happen, it's negatives. But to me, it's positives, Cam. because it tells you that a team is able to win through adversity and not rely on their best players. Coach Freed talked about time after time how he doesn't want Logan Wendell having to play 40 minutes and putting up 25 a night. He wants his entire team to be there for a group effort. You have 71 points, and you're telling me your two best players have combined for only 12 of those? That's a fantastic thing to hang your head on. And I think if Ithaca wins this game, that will be a shining part of it.
O'Neal over midcourt has 20, can set a new career high with 21 or more for the sophomore. He's on the right wing, Bombers from right to left. Evan Cabral now straight away through the legs dribble, finds Wendell, Lasith down low, left block, banks it in. Lasith also having a very strong night. He's got 14 points, has also hit 2 threes for the freshman. 73-65, the Bombers with the lead with 3:50 left to go. RIT has lost 6 of their last 7. Zach Ditzel, the sophomore, once down low Turner, tipped out of bounds on Wissink, and a big issue towards that is the turnovers. RIT has committed 17 here tonight. Bombers just with 6. They've won that battle by a large margin.
17 is kind of that magic number for teams. You're under that, you feel good about it. You're over it, it's too many.
Caggiano gets it in. They swing right corner. Brown for 3. Left rim no good. Lace hit the rebound. He had 10 on Friday against Skidmore and picked up 8 more against RPI on Saturday. Wendell over midcourt, just 6 points for the senior captain. He was shoved from Bowen playing strong defense. RIT now double-digit fouls, and Wendell back to the free throw line, double bonus. So with 3:29 left to go, this is where the Bombers close things out. And you kind of compare this team to where they were last year this time of year. And Coach Freed has said that in February you have to play your best basketball. The Bombers didn't. They went 2-5 in February. And RIT kind of jumped them for that playoff spot, as Wendell's first free throw is no good.
And there was a Tuesday game right around this time, late February, where the Bombers lost to RIT, which had serious implications on the playoffs. You don't want that to be the same thing this year, where if you lose this game, once again having serious implications on the 2025 playoffs.
If the Bombers win, they're in second place. Wendell makes the second, 74-65 their lead, 3:20 left to go, as Caggiano darts to his left side, faked out O'Neal, and scored. The fifth-year turning it on here in this second half. He has 10 points.
And he's being guarded like James Harden. The only defense the Bombers are giving him is to his right side.
Wendell straight away. Bombers looking to slow things down, a 74-67 lead. Under 3 minutes to go, Coach Freed calling out plays. Wendell almost stepped into a 3, 8 on the shot clock. Hesitates with the right hand, to his right side. Kicks to O'Neal. O'Neal, middle of the paint, fade away and rejected. He was denied from Bowen. Here comes RIT, full court pass, and Cabral stole it away. But then Cabral lost the basketball. Bowen was right there for the defense. So RIT gets away with a very sloppy turnover on a phenomenal block on the other end. The RIT Tigers, not a big, sizable team. They play with a lot of guards, but they play extremely hard. And that's what Dominic Parker wants this team's mantra to be, defense and just hard-nosed basketball. Caggiano with it, wants a screen from Turner on his left side. Caggiano picks up the dribble. Ditzel in the left corner, the sophomore. Step back J over Cabral. It's long. O'Neal the rebound with 2:27 left to go. This is where Ithaca can close things out, shooting 45% from the floor in this second half. Wendell dribbling all the way east coast to west coast, now at the Ithaca logo. Guarded very heavily from Brody Brown, now double teamed. Cabral right corner, 10 on the shot clock. Cabral lost the basketball. Ditzel picks it up, and RIT not going away. Ditzel from left to right. He's fouled in the back from Cabral. Cabral just back-to-back possessions, losing the basketball, commits a foul right there. Ithaca just has chances here to close things out, but playing erratic.
Leads this team in turnovers, that is Evan Cabral, and had opportunities to really drain what could be another 30 seconds off this clock. Possessions ended short for the Bombers.
RIT gets it into Turner on the left block, lowering the shoulder on Lasith, throws up a contested prayer. It's no good. Wendell the board. 74-67 is where it stays. Ithaca won for their last 4 from the field, but they commit another turnover. Wendell lost it at midcourt. The other way is Brown. He'll lay it up and lay it in. It's a 5-point game with 1:40 left to go. Ithaca now with 9 turnovers. They had 2 coming into this second half.
And 6 just a minute or 2 ago.
Cabral with the basketball, double-teamed. Bombers over midcourt, Logan Wendell straight away. Minute 20 now. Wendell double-teamed. Now O'Neal double-teamed. RIT looking for the turnover.
They just can't commit a foul.
Wendell left wing. He has 7 points, 3 for 11. Wendell to his left. Cabral left corner. Bobbles the basketball. Contested left corner three. It's an air ball. Turner the rebound. And a shot clock violation as neither side had possession. So just like that, minute 10 remaining. RIT has a chance down by 5.
They do. Out of nowhere, this team just a minute ago on the game clock was down by 8. If the Bombers succeed throughout their possessions, just wasting time. You don't even need to make a basket, and this is a different game. RIT is doing a great job in these final moments.
The Tigers over midcourt with Caggiano. He fires a right wing three. Right rim, no good. Long rebound for neither side. It rolls out of bounds. So RIT will soon have to foul as Wendell came out of the game for a second, came out for Holmes, comes back in for Lasith. Padilla also comes in. Padilla will take out Wissink. So it's Padilla, Wendell, Cabral, O'Neal, and Holmes to finish things off here in the final minute 01. 74-69. Holmes full court pass to Wendell. It was the Super Bowl on Sunday, and those two looking like Hurts and Devontae Smith. Wendell lays it in, points to Holmes, and it's a 76-69 lead. Timeout call with 58 seconds left to go.
You get the agile guys on the floor, and, to run a post route, that's exactly who you want. A great job right there, and the Bombers get a much-needed basket. If they don't have it there, they continue to make turnovers. Again, RIT stays in this game. Great execution by Ithaca, great game plan by Coach Walid Fareed to bring the smaller guys in this game.
What a job there from Holmes and just catching everybody on RIT off guard, even the Bombers, but Wendell was back there, saw the basketball in the air, took the basketball, and scored. The Bombers are led by 2 double-digit scores. It's O'Neal with 20, Lasith with 14, but once again, Wendell with 9, Cabral with 7, 2 of your top leading scorers in that top 3 threshold. It would be the first time this season the Bombers would win without those 2 guys in double digits.
It would, and listen, that is, again, a good thing. You want the ability to win without your stars performing because that shows character and that shows strength in more than just your star player or 2. I mean, Logan Wendell is a surefire all Liberty League selection, and Evan Cabral is probably going to be in that conversation too. Without those guys, if you can still win, that means a lot, especially come the playoffs when you know not every single guy is going to be on their best every single night.
And this team might be 3-2 in their last 5, with Wendell shooting 15% from 3 in their last 4 games. So far tonight, 0 for 3. RIT from left to right out of the timeout. It's Ditzel on the right elbow, guarded by Cabral super heavily. Turner, top of the key, dribble handoff, Caggiano, back down low. Turner had it stripped away. Holmes grabs the basketball, and RIT immediately fouled. They'll roll the basketball other side of the court, and the Bombers will get free throws and have a chance here to look at themselves as a second-place team, with them traveling to Canton, New York, and St. Lawrence on Friday to kick off a 4-game road trip to finish the season.
It's been a sloppy game, Cam, but at the end of the day, all that matters is this final score. And Ithaca, if things stay the way they are, have a chance to really get things done in a back-and-forth game. Sometimes it's good to face adversity like this because you get to see a little bit more of what the weaknesses of your team are, and Ithaca's definitely been able to see a certain wound here or there tonight.
Holmes makes the first. His second free throw is up and good. A 78-69 lead, 41 seconds. Brock Bowen over midcourt. Has 12 points here tonight. Fires a contested 3. It's off the right side of the backboard. Lasith the rebound. Will RIT foul? They will. O'Neal will head to the free throw line as Turner's fouled out of this basketball game. And if O'Neal makes one free throw here, he will set a new career high. So it could be a good night for the Bombers too. Not just your top guys under 10 points, but O'Neal, one of your top guys, new career high and a victory.
And O'Neal, a guy who we all are fans of, he faced foul trouble last time he had 20 against Clarkson. Finally, he gets another chance to get into this game and get an opportunity to get his career high, which he does right now.
21 points for O'Neal. 8 for 15 from the floor, just 1 3, but that was his 4th made free throw, and now finds his 5th. 22 for Jalen O'Neal. An 80-69 Bombers lead. 25 seconds left to go. Turner on the right elbow. Step back 3 in Lasith's face. Left backboard no good, shot clock dark, and the Bombers will dribble things out. So the regular season at home ends on a high note. The Bombers will move to 13-8, 10-4 in conference play, jump into a second-place tie with Vassar, and they do not want this to be the last time they play at home here in 2025. For the regular season, it is. The Bombers an 80-69 win, but the final 4 games will decide, will the Bombers be back in a few weeks in this gym for playoff basketball?
And it's going to take a lot for this Bomber team to play and get these wins down the stretch. You have 4 teams you're going against here: St. Lawrence, Clarkson, Bard, Vassar. All 4 of these teams, Liberty League playoff contenders. Bard a little bit on the outside looking in, same with SLU. But Clarkson, a team that Ithaca always has trouble with. Went to overtime with them last year, tough battle earlier this year. SLU, pretty much the opposite matchup of your ideal if you're Ithaca. They play really slow, a top 5 defense in the country in D3 according to points allowed. And then, of course, Vassar have just been phenomenal this year, have held that second spot in the Liberty League, and made a really good mark on why they might be the team to beat other than RPI this season. Ithaca was able to get that early season win by 20 points earlier, but going on the road is not going to be as easy for sure. Overall, this is going to be a tough run, Cam, and I'm excited to see what they do. It's going to be entertaining for sure.
Well, Matt Giavoni is courtside with the player of the game, 22 for Jalen O'Neal. Matt, take it away.
Jalen, career high 22 points tonight. What was going right for you shooting the ball?
I mean, it was just, it felt nice, you know. I felt confident today. I was getting to my spots pretty easily. That's pretty much it, yeah.
And how has it been for you as your role's expanded and you've become more of an integral part of scoring for this team throughout the season?
It's felt really good. I feel like I've embraced it a lot more than I did last year. Like I said, I feel a lot more confident. I feel like I'm doing more of what the team needs now, more than last year.
Tied for second in the Liberty League now. What do you guys need to do to win these last 4 games?
We need to play our brand of basketball, the brand of basketball that we've always played, the one that we know. No one can stop us when we're doing that.
Thank you. Go enjoy your win.
Sure. Thank you.
Jalen O'Neal, the player of the game, and talks about playing their brand of basketball down the stretch. The Bombers in second place at 10-4 and a tie with Vassar. They'll face number 6 Clarkson and number 7 St. Lawrence this weekend on the road in Canton, New York, and Potsdam, New York. 2 big games. Will the Bombers be back at home? We are not sure. 4 games left to go, but they're victorious here tonight, 80-69, the final. We'll say our so-longs, but the post-game show coming up, it's Morgan Spriggs and Luke Fitzpatrick to break down this victory. But for Matt Giavoni and Devin Jarvis, I'm Cam Anna saying goodnight, and thanks so much for tuning into this broadcast on Bomber Sports.